Are being warned to look out for strong breaking waves and powerful currents. Now, some northern coastlines could see waves as high as 45 feet, and another large swell is rolling in later this week. For more on what we can expect, let's send it over to meteorologist Drew Davis. Hey, Drew.
Aloha, Ashley. Let's take a look at what we've got outside. That high surf warning is up for north and west facing shores of Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, the north facing shores of Maui, and the Kona side of the Big Island, the windward side, the Hamakua coast of Hawaii Island, and over near Hilo, all the way down towards Kalapana under a high surf advisory until 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Now let's take a look at the actual numbers out there. If we get our graphics to advance, sometimes we have technical issues, so let me walk off screen, make sure we can get this to advance for you to show you the numbers out there. We are seeing some pretty large surf on north facing shores, around 35 to 45 feet this afternoon, 20 to 30. Another swell is on the way. I'll give you the details on that and the next chance for rainfall coming up.
And yesterday's windy conditions caused trouble on the roads. Check this out. Along Kapa'a Quarry Road, crews worked quickly to remove a large fallen tree. Other big trees fell along over the Pali Highway, and in Kailua, we spotted an old traffic light on its side. Now fronting Adventist Health Castle, police braved the windy conditions while directing traffic.
Crazy. It's crazy windy.
Blowing everything down, blowing boxes all over the place. It's just a mess.
Police closed part of Kaneohe Bay Drive fronting Castle High School because of a leaning communications pole. Hawaiian Telecom says 4 of its poles fell down. The city also closed Ho'omaluhia Botanical Garden because of downed trees and branches. Well, authorities are asking for help from the public to find Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of today's show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Investigators believe she was taken from her home against her will. Dana Griffin reports from Tucson, Arizona.
Investigators here in Tucson, Arizona say they still do not know the whereabouts of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of our beloved colleague and friend Savannah Guthrie. Right now, they say they are trying to track down every lead, and everyone that comes in is so important. They do believe she was abducted from her home outside of Tucson, Arizona over the weekend. They are asking anyone with information who may have been around the neighborhood at that time to please call them, even if it seems minute. They say every lead they are following up on. Savannah Guthrie posting on Instagram to please pray. She wrote in her caption, "Thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy." She also went on to say, quote, "Bring her home." The White House even weighing in today. They wrote, "Our prayers are with the Guthrie family as we hope for Nancy's safe return." DNA evidence has come back, a match for Nancy, but no strong leads yet for a potential suspect. The FBI says their role in all of this is analytical data. They are also checking cell phones, cell towers, and conducting interviews. Again, anyone with information is asked to call the Pima County Sheriffs. I'm Dana Griffin. Back to you.
In Washington, D.C., the House passed a funding package to end the partial government shutdown, sending the bill to President Trump's desk. The legislation funds the Department of Homeland Security for less than 2 weeks, while lawmakers negotiate reforms to ICE. Erica Brown has more from Capitol Hill.
Without objection, the motion is adopted.
By a vote of 217 to 214, the House narrowly passed a funding bill to end the partial government shutdown Tuesday.
I'm happy to report Republicans got the job done. Our majority worked together, and we got the bills over the line.
The legislation includes 5 full-year spending bills and only a temporary funding extension for the Department of Homeland Security, as Democrats demand reforms to immigration enforcement policies following federal agents fatally shooting 2 Minneapolis residents.
Body cameras must be required by law, and masks must come off. Judicial warrants are a requirement, not a suggestion.
President Trump is expected to sign the bill soon. Now that the measure has passed, Democrats will have less than 2 weeks to reach a deal with Republicans about reforming ICE before funding for Homeland Security runs out.
Kristi Noem must go.
The Ahead of the vote, 22 House Democrats protested outside ICE headquarters, calling for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to step down and ICE be dismantled.
The presence of ICE in our communities is not about public safety. This is about stoking fear, silencing peaceful dissent.
On Monday, Noem announced that the department is deploying body cameras to every officer in the field in Minneapolis. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now to a settlement in the mistaken identity case that got a former Honolulu man locked up and committed to the state hospital for years. Lynn Kwano reports on the deal that settles both the state and federal lawsuits.
The amount is not yet public. That will happen just prior to the deal getting legislative approval. Taxpayers will have to pay for what happened to Joshua Spriestersbach in 2017 when he was found sleeping on a sidewalk outside a Chinatown shelter. A Honolulu police officer arrested Spriestersbach on a warrant for this man, Thomas Castleberry, a convicted drug user, car thief, and burglar. No one checked the fingerprints to verify that they had the right person, so it was Spriestersbach who was jailed. When he insisted that he was not Thomas Castleberry, he was deemed delusional and sent to the state psychiatric facility where he spent more than 2 years, forced to take powerful antipsychotic medication that he didn't need. Even his own attorney with the public defender's office and the doctor at the state hospital didn't believe him.
It could have been cleared up very quickly had they just gone down to the police department, run his fingerprints, and checked out his story. But nobody did that.
Everyone that had a hand on this case screwed up. Nobody caught this mistake, and they should have. And because they didn't, now they're going to have to pay for it.
Legal experts anticipate the settlement amount to be more than $1 million, even though wrongful convictions payouts are set in Hawaii at $50,000 for every year served.
This was not a jury that just convicted after hearing the evidence. This is just nothing else other than the incompetence of the officials.
Yeah, this is a case that needed to be settled out of court. The city and county was not going to fare well with the jury on this case because we're not only dealing with someone who was in prison under the wrong identity, there was forced psychiatric medicine.
Spriestersbach was released in 2020 when someone from the state hospital finally listened to him and had a fingerprint check done. Spriestersbach's attorneys with the Hawaii Civil Rights Project won't talk about the case until the paperwork goes through later this month. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Lynn. Another scam is making the rounds in the form of a text message with a stern warning for Hawaii drivers. Dylan Ancheta has the details.
Many people are reporting this scam. It's a text message that claims drivers have outstanding fines with the local DMV, and even a link takes people to a misleading site where scammers can steal your personal information.
Oh, it basically said that I had some violations with the DMV and that I needed to call out-of-state number to pay for the fines. Otherwise, I was going to lose my license and the car was I'd lose my registration, etc.
Ben Sipi was one of many Hawaii residents who got a message like this Monday morning. It said a deadline to pay a fine was quickly approaching, and if he missed it, his credit score, license, and registration would be impacted. It also threatened legal action.
I got to ask you, Ben, are you a good driver?
I am.
So if you're a good driver, to get this message, what did that make you feel like?
Well, actually, I started laughing because I was watching Hawaii News Now this morning, and they were talking about a scam, and then I ended up getting that text message, so it just made me chuckle.
It looked like exactly had our seal, our state seal.
Eva Beach resident Nate Gomes also got the same message. He was suspicious, but still clicked the link. He said it went to a legitimate-looking website, but there were red flags.
I've been to the DMV site before. This one was not exactly like it, but it did have the emblem, and it would fool anybody, honestly.
He got the message twice and shared concerns that someone vulnerable, like Kupuna or Keiki, would fall for it.
Even like kids got it. My friend's kid got it too, and they're only like 7 or 8 or something like that, and they got that text for a DMV too, so it's kind of weird.
City, county, and even state offices put out warnings to residents Monday about the scam, saying the DMV does not solicit personal information and payments over the phone. Even with new enforcement technology like red light and speeding cameras, official methods of communication are more traditional, like mail.
I didn't get nothing in the mail, so that's another flag. Like, I know the DMV would send you something ASAP. They want their money.
Some other red flags to note: out-of-state numbers, suspicious links, and urgent demands for payment. State offices have been getting calls and reports from many people about this all day, which goes to show just how many people got this message. Now, if you get it, you're urged to delete it and block the sender immediately. For Hawaii News Now, I'm Dylan Ancheta.
President Trump suggests nationalizing elections in certain places. I'm Natalie Brand with his new comments, the concerns they're raising by lawmakers, and what the Constitution says about running elections.
Also ahead on This Is Now, a push to let psychologists prescribe medications spurs pushback from psychiatrists. We'll be right back. Hawaii psychiatrists and psychologists are once again in conflict over who should be allowed to prescribe drugs for mental illness. As Daryl Huff reports, a key committee agreed to give psychologists limited prescription power.
The conflict between psychiatrists who can prescribe mental health drugs and psychologists who can't has been around for years, but Hawaii's rising rate of suicide, especially on the neighbor islands, is putting pressure on lawmakers to look for a compromise.
I lost 2 first cousins to suicide. Neither was seen by a mental health professional in time to save their lives. That's a reality for too many families. Care is hard to access, delays are deadly, and people fall through the cracks.
Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami opposed prescriptions by psychologists as a state senator until he said he lost 10 friends and relatives.
And I'm not saying that this measure would have saved them, but all I'm saying is that for rural communities, Kauai being the smallest community in the state of Hawaii, something like this, I have to believe, would help.
The governor's lead advisor on health care supported the bill because it requires a prescribing psychologist to receive significant additional training and be supervised by a psychiatrist.
And that supervision creates what I think is a healthy thing, which is a team led by the psychiatrist to manage the psychologists who want to do this.
The committee got more than 150 pages of testimony on Senate Bill 847, much of it from psychiatrists who say the additional training is not enough to understand the challenge of potentially deadly mental health drugs.
When you go and get a crash course
Would you trust your loved one to go get that crash course medication, or from one of us that has done this for years?
They argued the best way to improve access to care is through telehealth visits and incentives to recruit and train more psychiatrists.
But there are other proven solutions to address the mental health crisis in our state.
This particular bill is more than a crash course. It requires a collaboration.
Big Island Senator Joy San Buenaventura chairs the Senate Health Committee, which approved the bill today.
We keep seeing the same canned testimony regardless of how much we made restrictions on the bill.
The bill now goes to the Senate Consumer Protection Committee and then has to pass the full Senate to get to the House. In other words, a long way to go for a controversial issue. Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Daryl. President Trump says Republicans should take over the voting process and nationalize it. The president continues to claim elections are being stolen despite having never been able to prove those claims in court. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
With 9 months until the midterm elections, President Trump suggested Republicans should take over voting procedures in certain places, speaking on a podcast with former Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
The White House says the president was calling for Congress to pass GOP election legislation, which would require citizenship documentation to register to vote.
I don't think any rational person who's being honest with themselves would disagree with the idea of requiring citizens of this country to present an ID before casting a ballot in a federal election.
Elections experts say research shows voter fraud is extremely rare, and the Constitution gives states the authority to run elections. Congress also has the ability to alter elections rules, but not the president.
It's a system that works well so long as the states make it a priority to ensure the integrity of our elections.
Democratic Senator Mark Warner called the president's latest comments a pretext to conduct what he fears could be unprecedented federal intrusion into elections.
This threat to our election security, the basic premise of our democracy, is forward-looking to 2026, into 2028.
Warner also expressed concerns about the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, being involved in an FBI raid on the Fulton County, Georgia Election Center last week over 2020 records. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we've got your full First Alert weather forecast. Going to be a little bit cool over the next couple of days alongside the large surf and details on the wet weekend ahead. I've got it all coming up.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
All right, well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is a lot calmer compared to what we were seeing yesterday with those strong winds and the rainfall late last night. Here's what we're tracking in our First Alert Weather forecast. We've got a drier air mass moving in right now. It's going to be pretty cool as we're going into the overnight. An extra large northwest swell is going to be peaking today. Again, very large surf. A high surf warning is currently up on north and west facing shores, and a cold front due as we're going into this weekend. Just a quick look at the water vapor satellite imagery. You can see this cool air mass, this dry air mass moving in across the state. It's very dry out there. It's going to be pretty chilly for Hawaii standards as you're waking up early tomorrow morning. Let's actually take a look at our temperature cast. Let's go into around 6 a.m. on Wednesday. Man, take a look at those temps. I don't think we'll be getting into the low 60s, but maybe mid 60s out there. 67 over in Hilo, a little bit warmer over in Kailua Kona. Getting into the low 80s, upper 70s tomorrow for a high, and cool weather sticks around Thursday, but we're going to be seeing us warming up going into the weekend ahead of another front that's moving in. And you can see the northerly winds bringing in this drier air. This is around 5 p.m. this afternoon, between 5 to 10 miles per hour. These don't stick around for long. More northeasterly and then easterly winds as we're going into Wednesday. By the time we're at Thursday, southerly and southeasterly winds are returning. Kona winds ahead of another front moving in on Friday. Let's take a look at our First Alert Futurecast. Still seeing a few showers out there over near Hawaii Island, but relatively light rainfall, nothing significant. Northerly winds again, easterlies by the time we get to Wednesday. Then we start to see scattered showers moving in along those Kona winds coming in from the south. Now let's take a look. Friday looking to be pretty active as we're going into Friday evening. A cold front and an upper level low going to be hanging around the state, giving us a good chance for some isolated thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, all in the forecast. We could be seeing that going into this weekend. Still pretty far out in the weather models. Looks to be an active weekend of weather. And with these upper level systems, very hard to pinpoint where exactly the rainfall is going to be, but we'll give you more details on that over the next couple of days. Again, a high surf warning up for most north and west facing shores, the north facing shores of Hawaii Island under a high surf advisory. And then here's a look at the numbers. Surf and shoreline forecast for this afternoon. Again, the swell is peaking this evening, 35 to 45 feet on north facing shores, 20 to 30 out on west facing shores. Here's our 7-day forecast. If you've been outside today, it's very beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky. Start to see more southerly winds Wednesday and Thursday. This weekend looks to be pretty active.
Sounds good, Drew. Thank you. Still to come, an organization that empowers people with disabilities to enjoy the ocean is celebrating 20 years. Casey Lund has the details in 2 minutes.
Coming up today at a new time, 12:30, it's Spotlight Now. We'll be sitting down with a member of the Green Fee Advisory Committee to talk about where that $100 million will go. Catch Spotlight Now on the HNN streaming app, available on Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire.
end the show with some good news. For 2 decades, Access Surf Hawaii has helped people of all abilities get into the water.
They're marking 20 years with 2 upcoming beach events. Our Casey Lund has the details from Waikiki.
Aloha from a beautiful Waikiki, and a reminder, 20 years we're celebrating with Access Surf. We've been here for so many of the competitions. They have events, a couple of events coming up on the 7th and the 18th. I'm going to tell you about those in just a moment. First though, Zoe Lewis is with me. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's a great day here in Waikiki.
It is.
And we want to talk a little bit about 20 years. You're relatively new with the organization, the new executive director, but one of the things that I know that you know, even regardless of how long you've been with Access Surf, is you need a lot of help and volunteers too. Tell me a little bit about how people can get involved.
Oh my gosh, well, there are so many ways to get involved in our events. Even if you're not someone who surfs or gets in the water, if you come out, we need people to help with the lunch table, with sign-in, with transfers on the beach or beach safety. So there's so many different roles, and we just want to put the word out there that we need everyone on deck.
Very good. And I also do want to talk a little bit about, you know, 20 years of this organization has been doing some amazing things, helping people that maybe thought they would never get back in the water, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible thing to see just the joy that people experience being in the ocean. It's so special.
And the community that has been built around it. All these people coming from all over the world, right here to Waikiki, the most famous beach in the world, and really enjoying some friendship and this amazing sport that so many people love. I want to talk a little bit about an opportunity to do just that this Saturday, right? And we'll put the details up on the screen here for this event on the 7th.
Yes, so on this Saturday, the 7th, we have our Day at the Beach. It's a monthly event where we gather at White Plains and we do surf, swim, hang out on the beach, share some food and some community, and it's a really special day.
Okay, and we might not have had that up on the screen, but let's talk a little bit about the 18th, another one. This is for Wounded Warriors, right?
Yes, so same style of event, a little bit smaller, but our focus is on veterans, service members, and first responders.
Yeah.
So it's a really special day.
Awesome, and you do want people to sign up ahead of time, right?
Absolutely. Please sign up ahead of time on our website. All the roles are explained there. Participants and volunteers can sign up.
accesssurf.org, just ACCESSURF. No 3 S's.
Yes,
I made that
only
mistake.
2 S's.
Only 2 S's. I made that mistake. Zoe Lewis with us today here in Waikiki. Thank you so much for all you do. And again, if you missed any of those details, we have them all on our website, and that's hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Thank you so much, Casey. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast one more time. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday all highlighted in red. We're tracking that front moving in late Friday night. Looks to be an active weekend of weather ahead. More details over the next couple of days as we fine-tune the forecast. More news coming up at 4 p.m.
Thank you for watching. This is Now. Aloha.